All right, welcome into the latest edition of our training camp reports. It is day 6. You do the 1. There it is. See, that's 6. We can do it for you. As you know, thank you everybody that's been watching these every day, and tell your friends, subscribe, rate, say nice things. Helps us as we try to get the YouTube page rolling here. But we're happy to bring these to you every day. Today again, anticipated day, first day in pads for the Bengals, and there was a lot going on. So we have a lot to get to. Let's start. We're going to go takeaway, play, thing they say. Jay?
So normally first day of pads, you see a little bit of a dust up. You see a little bit of some skirmishes. Last year, they didn't even wait till the first day of pads, and Trey Hendrickson and Orlando Brown Jr. got into it. I thought everybody was pretty well behaved today. It was the hottest day of camp. Maybe everybody was in such a good mood because of the new locker room. They decided that they didn't decide, but it didn't play out the way you would think. And they even tried to ramp it up more. Zach went with a live tackling drill today. I don't think I've ever seen that on day 1 of pads. Now it's just one period, end of camp or end of practice, the 3s against the 3s. But it was noticeable. We were looking at each other. We thought people were making mistakes. Like, what's going on? Why are they thumping? And it was by design. And I thought that was interesting. And I asked Lou about it afterward, and he said, it was part of the plan. You eventually got to start doing this stuff. Why not start right now? Even though it was just the 3s on the 3s, I think it really got the 1s and the 2s juiced on the sideline, watching it and getting ready. Presuming maybe we see that on Thursday, that the starters, the backups, have a live period or 2.
Well, and you want to learn a little bit more about what these guys have to offer in tackling environments and see what that looks like. But you're right. I mean, it has been a thing. Well, wondering what the changes would be, wondering what maybe some tweaks would be this year. That's certainly one. That to say, hey, let's be more physical. Let's be more physical the day that we can put the pads on. Now, not with your stars, but still learning about some of the younger players a little bit more before they just get thrown into the fire in preseason games. So certainly a difference there. My takeaway is going to be really about the defense in general today. And that would be, Lou Anarumo. We talked to him afterwards, and he said, the communication is tenfold better with the veteran safeties back there. So, hey, nice things to say about Von Bell and about Geno Stone, and not so nice things to say about, I guess, Dax Hill and Jordan Battle and Nick Scott, who's not here anymore. And that's stuff that I think that they hope will be improved. And it has been. I thought today, for the, a huge jump up in intensity and everything they were doing, I thought the defense really showed well today. And you saw them making plays, whether it was, we saw red zone 7-on-7 was really predominantly, I thought, won by the defense. Pass breakups, multiple plays by Mike Hilton. We saw, you had DJ Turner blew up a bubble screen at one point. Dax Hill had a really nice PBU on an attempt to get a touchdown into the back of the end zone. I just thought you saw them showing up and making plays more often. And so I thought it was a really nice start to padded practices for the defense. The offense had their wins, certainly, but I thought a nice day. Shaka Hayward had what would have been a pick six at one point, running with the 2s there. So I thought a nice, solid first day in pads for the defense.
Pick 6 against Jake Browning. I know people wonder what did Burrow do wrong? It was against Jake Browning. You mentioned padded practice. It was also a lot of padded balls. It wasn't just the plays they were making on the ball. All the quarterbacks a lot of times were throwing off schedule. They were sitting back there waiting on people to get open. So you're right. It was a very good day for the defense. My play was actually one with the offense. It's a guy we talked about a little bit earlier this week, Erick All, the rookie tight end from Fairfield, Ohio. Got to give that shout out
every time. When does that end? When do we stop shouting out Fairfield? Is it like his 3rd year, his 4th year? Drop. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But no, his first play, and even Zach talked about this yesterday, that expect him to be brought into the fold slowly. They just wanted to have him go through walkthroughs and get out there, and it really sounded like it was going to be another week or 2 before we saw him do anything competitive. First play is 7-on-7. He's in there, and they throw it to him up the seam near the goal line. He goes up and makes a really strong contested catch against Jordan Battle. And he had talked about that when he got cleared. He said he's been thinking about what that first catch in the NFL is going to feel like, and that was about as good as it gets. I asked Jordan Battle if he said anything to him after that, and he said, "Yeah, good job. It's the last one you're going to get."
Well, and I thought, and Eric was pretty honest with us afterwards. Like, yeah, you are thinking about your knee a little bit, and but he said he felt pretty good coming out of his 3-point stance during individual and making a play, and you make the play and say, "Oh, snap! Feels okay." Everything feels like he's coming back and confident, becoming more and more confident. But I'm with you. I did not expect to see that much out of Erick All. To see him out there making a hard contested catch near the goal line, taking on contact, already certainly a big day for him. My play is going to be how every play I could not take my eyes off of Amarius Mims. I just, you wanted to watch it anyway. We talked a little bit about this yesterday in the anticipation of what he'll look like when they get into full pads and sort of letting him be his powerful self at that point. Boy, he was impressive. And Myles Murphy was across from him a lot. And it's crazy. You could just see the entire outline of Amarius Mims around Myles Murphy as he tried to go up and bull rush through him or whatever. I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable, just the pure size. And he told me the best piece of advice he's got, which he's gotten a lot, was from Trent Brown: play big, play 6'8", 350, which he says is what he currently is right now, which is just stupid to be that. And Murphy said, you feel that. You feel the power when you hit him. You feel his athleticism and his size. Like you got to have some type of a plan of attack or else you get in there, and it does. He seems like he eats you up, and he did that consistently. This is day one in pads, and there's so much to happen. But, man, with every rep and with everything that you started to see today, you felt like the percentage chance that he's the starter would go tick, 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 tick a little bit, maybe a little bit more in his direction, because he is looking the part, and I thought he really looked the part in his debut in pads today.
Yeah, and he was very kind of humble about it afterwards. And I asked him, and he said, "Absolutely, you're thinking about it. You're this year's first round pick. You're going against last year's first round pick." He said he had some wins and some losses out there. I was like, I didn't see any losses. And he said he counts the losses. Even he might have won the rep, but he did something. His technique was off a little bit. So he's really hard on himself, and it was an impressive performance. It's kind of in line with what I was going to go with a thing they say, because Myles Murphy, he stated the obvious. He said not too many people are built like him, but it goes back to what you said. You have to have a plan. Myles Murphy said they did one-on-ones before they got into the team period, and he said his plan is always that first rep of one-on-one, bull rush, man on man, try to be out physical the guy. He's like, you're just not going to do it against that guy. And you have to have a plan. You have to be technically sound, and you've got to have a plan. And that bodes well for, whenever he takes over as the starter, you're going to have even great defensive ends across the league that have never faced that guy before. And it's going to be hard to have a plan until they've seen him a few times. So I'm with you. I don't know where I put the percentage right now, 51-49. It's close. It's close to 50-50 on who's going to be the starter opening day. And every day it moves closer to looking at like it's going to be Amarius Mims.
Yeah, and we'll see how that plays out. And that's the best case scenario. The best case scenario is Amarius Mims looks so good that you now have Trent Brown as your swing tackle behind Orlando Brown and him. And that could be the ideal situation that plays out. Again, day one, long way to go. But, God, you just see how his physicality can just win reps over and over and over again. My thing that they say is going to be from Cam Taylor-Britt, who I think maybe a little bit of a surprise to see out there as much as he was today. Of course, he had his tonsils taken out, and we've kind of talked about that and joked around about that a little bit, but he showed up out there. He was out there in some 7-on-7 stuff, and 11s. It was out there as a starter across from Dax Hill and him were out there at one point, and he wasn't taking a ton of reps. I think he estimated he counted on more than two hands, probably how many there actually were. But we were asking him about the tonsillectomy and stuff, and his point of what he said, I couldn't talk for 3 days, and I thought, That had to have been the worst 3 days of Cam Taylor-Britt's life. Maybe the most talk. I haven't heard him shut up since the day he showed up here in Cincinnati, and that's part of his aura, I guess, and part of what's made him so successful here. And he said, yeah, the first day was particularly the hardest, but a lot of what they've just been very careful about making sure that the stitches that he had in there, he wasn't gonna. He called it. So it wasn't going to bleed all over the place. And I'm just thinking, like, you know what? I think that's a good call. Yeah. You don't want to be bleeding all over the place. Nobody wants to see that. But it was good to see Cam Taylor-Britt starting to work back in there on the first day in pads and then feeling comfortable with everything that was going on with his tonsils getting taken out. So he just had been going on. He was getting strep. He was getting tonsillitis, getting strep and tonsillitis, and finally decided better just do it now. And so Cam Taylor-Britt, though, back in the mix and able to talk again. I'm sure he's very, very happy about that.
I mean, it sounded painful.
Yeah.
Even today, he sounded hoarse. And he said that too about, playing that it was dry. And it was hard to stay hydrated. And because you're thinking, why would you not play with tonsillitis? But like you said, the bleeding, that you have a hard time just keeping your mouth moist and breathing and getting your wind back. And it's, Zach said up here, he said he didn't know what all goes into the coming back from tonsillectomy. Cam kind of laid it out for us, and it makes total sense that they eased him back. They've been smart with everything they've done so far with these guys that have been coming back from something.
Yep, and that's right. And another day, no Jamar Chase, of course, 6 for 6 there. He did sign autographs today.
Yeah, that's something.
So we have action. We have action, moving in the right direction as we see how long it's going to be until Jamar Chase comes back. All right, we will be back on Thursday. Bengals have a day off on Wednesday, so you can check back with us then, and we'll recap what goes on with padded practice number 2, overall practice number 7. And, of course, now I am every couple one of these, putting them together, putting them up on the podcast feed so you can catch those there. But we get these up as quickly as we can after a locker room, after these practices. So you can always catch them first on the YouTube channel. So make sure you are checking back as the Bengals continue to hit through training camp. So we will talk to you on Thursday. Have a good one, everybody.